He always busts my balls a little bit too every time he sees me. I go like, nice one.
What does he do to bust your balls?
I think
What's he
that
say?
last thing up at Laguna we went to, he's like, oh, he goes, oh wow, I haven't seen you in a while. He goes, man, you got old. Like he's like busting me out.
All right, so it's not
He always
just me.
says something to me though.
There's a lot of reason to bust my balls. Making cooking shows in a garage. You're doing that all wrong. That's not how you...
Counterclockwise. Counterclockwise.
Look at it, all the fucking juice is going off the side.
When you put the juice in, it's counterclockwise.
Do you got a towel? Fuck it, I'm just going like this.
Yeah, don't worry about making a mess in here.
I'm telling you, this is all worth it.
Well, the first hour we made a drink.
Well, all the cooking's been already done.
Now you're going to thank me later. 100 words a minute from Doug Marker.
But I'm sitting on the toilet
God.
at 2 in the morning going, how early did you cook that chicken, Doug?
Cook?
I cooked them yesterday.
I like a nice raw
Juice
chicken.
is going everywhere. Don't buy one of these. I'll tell you that right now, people.
I mean, I just have one of those things that squeezes it.
What? Like, but those are for like lemons only, right?
Well, I'll just cut those.
Those little hand ones?
I'll just cut those in quarters, you know.
Oh, you'll have to put that in your cooking book.
They're tough. Yeah, my cooking book. Use a boot.
Fill yours to the rim. Your very first no lime margarita made in your garage. Cheers.
Right on.
So usually on the show I say, what are you making for us today? But Doug already made it. We're
still making it. We're still gonna put it together.
We're gonna be assembling something in a little bit. But what'd you make us today?
Basically like a chicken street taco, kind of going with the Southern California theme, you know.
Because you're from Southern California.
Born and raised.
San Diego?
1961.
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
Nope.
This is it.
This is it.
You got your surfboards, skateboards. This is SoCal living.
Yeah, I love it.
Motorcycles.
You stay a teenager till you drop dead.
That's usually
That's the life.
I think like rock and roll is what keeps me young. Rock and roll, but skateboarding is for you. And
everything. I skateboard, I play music, ride motorcycle, surf, like a variety of things, you know.
What was the era? It was the 1970s?
Yeah, absolutely. Like early 70s, you know, I was riding clay wheels. You know, we had the little pottery wheels with the loose bearings, and we all were barefoot and just basically had little short boards and rode around, surfed our driveway, you know.
Where did you get your first board?
Actually, I didn't have a manufactured board. I don't even know if they sold one at that time for a long time. Like, cause my dad was a professional cabinet maker. We had a wood, you know, always had a shop at our house. So I made all mine at home, you know, jigsawed them out and whatever, you know. Pretty soon the neighborhood kids were over there like too.
Were you the first one on the block to make a board?
Probably, and I actually made pretty good skateboards. I mean, even when there was manufactured boards, actually my first picture in Skateboarder magazine doing a frontside air, homemade skateboard, solid wood still. Because actually the boards they were making, even right out of the first ones, weren't that good. I had 6 or 7 companies early on, like want to make my own model and this and that, and my mom would drive me to these places.
Companies were asking you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you want your board made?
Yeah, well, they were like, that would have been good, but you know, they would, you know, I was a kid, I was like, they would go, hey, this is the board we're making, we want to put your name on it, and I'd be like, usually I was like,
how old were you when you're telling these like
15, yeah.
And they were like, how
my
old?
mom would drive me like far to some of these places and they'd go like, sign your name or this and that, and it would take a while, and may or may not a board would show up, and I'd always be like, I can make my own better board. I mean, I didn't know, like, there was not like now like skateboard companies or people you could talk to about it. They were just some guy trying to cash in on skateboarding, the new thing, right? So I mean, if I would have been smart enough or somebody coached me, I could have said, hey, like, this is what we should do, or this is what, you know, but I was just taking it as it came, and I don't even remember why we were skateboarding, but we were skateboarding, you know? We were just little surfer kids, you know? I do remember a pivotal moment in skateboarding to this day when that urethane wheel came out. And up till then, you know, I was barefoot and had clay wheels. I mean, clay wheels are like you're riding pottery because you're not going very fast or going anywhere basically because you're like vibrating on these clay wheels. So we pretty much skated in front of our house mostly then, you know, just like did low turns and act all cool.
Yeah.
But
then it was all style.
Yeah, and you, like I said, you were only riding from here to you, like, and turning, dragging your ass around, like, you know, stuff like that. But when that urethane wheel came in, I still remember putting those on and like standing on when I was like, I mean, I don't know if you ever ice skated when you were a kid. The first time you like stepped out on the ice, you're like, holy
Fell on my
shit,
ass.
dude, this is like good. We're going somewhere now, right? That's kind of when the shoes came in, because now you're going fast. You ain't gonna run off from that, right? These urethane wheels, you know. Grip tape too. No grip tape until then.
Okay.
Why'd you need grip tape? It was crazy how I always tell people it is amazing how skateboard just organically, always right out of the gate, made the right decision. Really, the first boards that were popular and people rode were like maple wood. And then later, when they made ply boards, like they make now, they're maple plies. So that like stayed. Like, oh, I want to make mine out of maple wood. Okay, so that stays, right? And the truck is basically, they might change the angle or whatever, but that's still kind of the same. And once they made that urethane wheel, they still make urethane wheels. Like the size and the flow of it's different, but the material, even the shoe, the Van shoe that started in what, 66? Skateboarders kind of adopted that, in Converse shoes. Me and my 3 buddies, we went to Crawford High. It was me, Ron Hudgens, Frank Mariskel, and Dave Good. We were pretty much the skateboarders, the cool skateboarders, all-terrain ripping guys, and we were way ahead of the curve. So we were already riding like vertical terrain before skate parks even opened. So when the skate parks opened and we showed up, it was like, I still even think about that when they built the second skate park ever built in the world. It was in my neighborhood, Moving On Skate Park on Home Avenue off 805 there. And I was already like, all I thought about was skateboarding. When you're 14, 15, you're just like, whatever you're into, like that's it, right? This is what I do, this is who I am, right? And they started digging these runs, and I mean, now you're like, oh, skate park, but I mean, there was no such thing. We were riding, drainage ditches, whatever, right?
Sure.
Whatever, we were just making it happen. And I remember still, I can see it like standing there going like, and it was pretty aggressive, and big. Like, to be honest, they were building stuff like only me and my buddies could ride at that point. People had to like get up to speed, and I was like, I am so glad to be alive. That moment, it was so awesome, killer.
Did pool skating just kind of organically happen in like different cities where kids just kind of figured out to do this, or did it happen in one city?
It was exposed on the magazine. My buddy now, like Greg Weaver, when they reissued in the mid-70s, or early 70s, they reissued the Skateboarder magazine again, and everybody was like, he was the first one to get on that cover. Were we doing that before? I don't know. But that's kind of ignited the whole like scene, And then every magazine after that, then you had the Dogtown, Tony Alva and Jay Adams, and all those guys, and their stories were written, and they were ripping pools. But like early in, like Tony Alva, like people like me and early generations, the people that follow Dogtown, I mean, he's the godfather of pool skater. I mean, there was guys who could do more tricks or whatever was happening at the time, but just his like presence, he was just rock star level. I still remember that going like, you can't beat this coolness. Oh, and here's the funny thing, like now people, over the years, they put out their videos to get sponsored, and there's this whole whatever to become this, and you get on a team as an amateur, and then whatever happens. And when I was a kid, because I was involved in the first Pro Pool Series contest of all time, which thank you Henry Hester for putting that together. He had a 4-stop series. And as that series came, that first contest was going to be there, and Going Trucks approached me, because they had guys there, and their manager, Mike Williams, he watched, and they were trying to get somebody that would do well in this contest, right? So that he comes, I mean, it's just like this. He comes over, hey, who he is, and hey, this and that. I've watched you skate. You want to skate for us for Going? And I'd like you to skate in the Pro Cool thing that's coming up. I'm like, oh, of course. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, great.
Where do I sign?
So here's when you're in 1978 and you're a professional skateboarder, right? Here's some of our trucks that we make. Here's a couple of T-shirts. Welcome to the team.
And that's all you get.
That's it, man. Like Hawks even talked about that, like back then. You just signed in. I'm in the pro division, and boom, you're off and running.
It helps with the chicks.
And you're off and running. It was crazy. But that day that they had that first contest, at the time I didn't really whatever, kind of like swooped up and everything's kind of moving fast, because there's really only like 40 or 50 brand new pool pro skaters in the world, right? And 40 of them are at this thing. Right? So, and there's only been a half a dozen magazines out at the time with pool skating, so I got to see like guys going like, oh, there's that dude, oh, there's that dude, there's that guy, which was super like exciting and amazing, right? And I'm like, hey, I'm part of this.
Things started to change, like what, early 80s?
I dipped out early 80s. Like I remember telling like about 1980, like my sponsor was like, I'm out. The contest that I skated in the early 70s, when it was exploding and so like wonderful, I mean, it really was like, wow, this is great. We used to do this in the canyon and now we're doing it in magazines.
Right.
It was super rad. You could see where companies and manufacturers, it was becoming more professional for sure, but it's not like now where you're like, oh great, I'll get on, I'll travel the world. There wasn't none of that, you know? So you really weren't, they were like shipping me around or having me do things. I was like, I really don't even want to do that.
Gotcha.
And I'm not getting paid a lot of money.
You're not getting paid.
I mean, here and there I get money or whatever, but I go like,
Right.
you know?
I had the good times.
And I remember telling Jay Adams, and I've told this story to a few people, it was about like the third contest into the pro thing. I go, hey, like, you know how like wherever we go now, if you can go in the grocery store or whatever, around your high school, or there's always kids who are like, oh, you're like, if you have one of those Hester shirts on, like, oh, you're in that Hester, oh, who are you? Oh, wow, you're this guy. I go, we're all like known. Anything to do with skateboarding, anywhere you went, they're like, oh, you're that guy, oh, you're that guy, right? It was super cool, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, there never was that before. I go after this contest or this series, I go, they're gonna pick a winner of this thing, and the rest of people are gonna go, not gonna be 50 strong, it's gonna be 4 or 5. And he goes, oh, I never thought of that. And that's totally what happened. So a lot of guys like me were like, whatever.
So that was early 80s, you kind of dipped out, and then you were always playing guitar.
First band out, like The Uncalled For and Resurrection of Love, played in that band. Oh, before that I played in Tribal Electric.
Oh, I remember when I met you, you had long hair and you were playing.
That was Tribal Electric, yeah.
That was Tribal Electric.
Yeah. Sort of cult sounding band.
That's remember.
As you know, like I played in original bands for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And before all that, originally, even before the skateboarding, motorcycles was my thing. And my parent, and I was gonna start racing motorcycles. I went to the races, like when I was about 12, I'm like, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill these guys suck. Because I was racing with like 16-year-old kids in the canyon that raced at Carlsbad and stuff. And I remember going and my parents started, I go, hey, next weekend, let's go, like I'm gonna race. And they're like, nope. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah, they're like, you're crazy, you're so competitive. They're like, you'll kill yourself. I go, it's gonna be easy. Like, these guys, like, who are these guys? They're like, can't even hardly ride a motorcycle. And they wouldn't let me race my motorcycle. And that faded so quick for me that I parked that motorcycle.
Oh, really?
I still had a motorcycle and I would still ride wheelies down the street. I was that kid, you know? But then I just put most of my focus into skateboarding.
Did they said you're not doing that because you had already hurt yourself?
No, I hadn't gotten hurt.
You hadn't gotten hurt yet?
No, but they were like,
But they could see
you're a maniac. You're gonna like,
right.
You'll do anything to win, kid. And I was like, oh my God. And I used to bring that up through the years of life and decades. And my dad would go like, oh my God, you're still bringing that up, that we wouldn't let you race motorcycles? Fast forward to like in my 40s, my son Martin, he wanted to ride motorcycles. So I was like, let's do it. Like we got dirt bikes. And then I got all obsessed again for a while, right? Like for about a decade. I was in the hospital like every year, major. And then the big blowout that like shut it all down when I was 50. So yeah, they were right. I told them before they passed on, my parents, I go, you were right. I probably would have killed myself. I will make it out somehow.
So then at what point did you start skating again? Or did you always skate?
I didn't skate at all till like early 2000s when they started pouring concrete. Like Ocean Beach was the first concrete park. But honestly, I went there and skated. Like I went and got a skateboard from, I don't even know where, like Retro Skates or something, whatever, like anything down the street. And I went there and I remember going like, that was it, I was back in. I was stoked. I was like, dude, why did we ever quit? And I wasn't the only person, like other guys now I've met, like, oh, and even guys I skated with as a kid, like, oh yeah, here we are, you know?
Definitely getting the band back together.
We're doing it, yeah. I mean, it's huge now.
Road show.
Oh wow, yeah, that's fast forward, yeah.
You organized this and it was just kind of organic. You just kind of like started making an announcement on social media. I'll be skating here this Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be skating wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Every Saturday I was going to skate a new place just because me and my buddies had been skating, you know, the park here in Encinitas so much. I was like, you know what? Now we have so many skate parks. I'm going to move around. I'm going to branch out. I'm going to like revisit or check out new parks or whatever. Every Saturday was the deal, you know.
It's not called Road Show anymore?
Yeah, it is still.
Is it?
Deathracer Roadshow.
So, okay, what came first, Deathracer or Roadshow?
Deathracer did. Well, I put it together and I wrote up that letter. There's a letter that I give people like how special they are and a patch like kind of bring them into the brotherhood, sisterhood. I mean, now that, it's kind of like there's no old people, you know, like people like myself and everybody's still like charging life, and even people that are younger, that whatever they're doing, if they're like really like super passionate about what they're doing. I mean, most of the what mine focuses around is skateboarding, but then like BMX, motorcycle riders, whatever, even if you're a musician, whatever. Most of these kind of people are never recognized or given any, gratitude for like who they are. They're basically people that, oh, well, what do you do for a real job? People want to know that. I'm like, I don't really care about that, Yeah. It's like I was more wanting to express how great it is that people are living the true life that they want to live, right? So that's kind of how I started Deathracer. What I would do, even like on social media, I'd see people that I didn't even know, and I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of rad, like an older dude, like look what he's doing, and I would reach out like, hey, what's your address? I want to send you something. And I would just start mailing those things out into the world, Everybody wants to, like, I think, be part of something and part of something positive. And as far as skateboarding, there was a lot of little camps in town, like, 4 guys out East County and 3 guys North County, whatever, around. They were kind of skating, and whether they would have stayed moving forward or not, I don't know. But that road show has put them all together. I don't even know how I've met a lot of these people. I just know them through those sessions.
How many members are there?
I mean, in San Diego that come in and out of the sessions,
Sure.
Probably 100, but there's people now East Coast and Texas and
Really?
Europe, and yeah, they reach out to me like, hey, and I send them stuff, and I'm like, right.
Like that guy from Brazil I met on
Yeah,
Saturday.
right?
Brazil.
Yeah, I meet all kinds of people like that, like, and it's amazing. And
He was thanking you.
yeah, and it's all like from social media. I used to always put out tons of like just little homemade videos of just cool stuff, like music like you can do on your phone, and like have cool things that I like surfing, or just a cool dog standing there, like just the vibe,
Sure.
And I always just kept putting that out, like this is the real life. This is, like, at least how I like it, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just grown into its own culture,
So, yeah, it's super cool. It's like everyone's included. You don't have to be a
Absolutely.
professional skater.
And that
This is
being
for-
said, yeah, because there's so many pros, especially around here. This is like
This is for the people.
every guy's badass. Like, why you're badass? Because you show up and you're like,
Yeah.
you might even have to go to work tomorrow, but you're like gonna drop in and like risk your ass. You're like,
Yeah.
you're willing to risk having a good time,
Yeah. Where could it go? I mean, you've got people around the world.
I try to actually keep it smaller, but it's trying to like get big. Like, people are reaching out like, I want to start a chapter in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah?
And I want to start a chapter in New York. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't want to manage that, and I don't want to let it go. It's special, and hey, here's patches, here's shirts. Give them to all your friends. We're all part of the same thing. But I don't want it to branch out like a motorcycle club.
You're
where
not
they
trying
have
to
the
make
chapter.
money or anything.
No. I mean, I produce shirts and stuff for people, but most of it I give away or I sell just to make my money back.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And then I have my buddy Barry Blumenthal I shared with you.
Okay.
And on social media, he's Mirror Black. He starts reaching out. Like, people should know the story. They should know what's going on here, right? So like a year ago, I was in the Evening Tribune. They did a big article, big photo of me skating, and they never really get the story right, but it's cool.
Today we're going to get the story right.
Right, and then that's good.
We're going on the record. It all comes back to what it really was about: getting together and having a good time.
Exactly.
All right, let's try out these chicken tacos.
All right, man.
I don't overcook in that bowl over there.
All right. Chicken thighs, because I don't like white meat.
Okay. Well, chicken thighs are perfect for tacos, actually, yeah?
I think so. And I always throw them in like
I'm not going to argue with the guy called Deathracer.
in a glass dish, and I just put them in the oven for 30 minutes at 400 degrees, and it's like, It's a no-brainer, right?
Okay.
So then I just keep in the fridge, and so at least 3 or 4 times a week, like coming home from skateboarding, whatever like that.
Okay.
I just take them out.
How many weeks has this been?
This actual bowl?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I skipped a week and these were still in there. So.
Shit.
No, it's all good. And then I'll just chop them up and like put a little olive oil and cook them. Put a little like, that taco season you get like at any grocery store, that powdery stuff. I put it in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
As far as the meat goes.
Would you say this is one of your classic things that you've been doing for a long time?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. You don't live in Southern California and not like tacos.
Right next to Mexico.
Or maybe you got to move. Let me get down.
Then I get the little tortillas, some chopped onion, avocado, green salsa, and I always chop up a little bit of jalapeno just to Those are pretty stark little tacos, so that gives them a little pizzazz. Little chicken. Some onion. You like onions?
I like onion.
Onions there. A little bit of jalapeno. Thanks for coming by and letting me jibber jabber about my life. And that is it. A little green salsa on top of it.
Okay.
Super
and then
easy.
off to the skate park.
Yeah, that way you're not too full. You can still go hang out, have a few drinks.
Well, you know you'd be drinking these all day if I stayed here. Cheers. I'm gonna eat one.
We're doing it?
I'm doing it. Oh yeah.
Simple.
Nice dog. Very good. Simple is the way to do it with a taco.
I agree.
And you got it all in there. Now, do you put cheese on tacos ever? Or you would? Are you?
I'm not a cheese guy.
You're not a cheese guy. People get into this like no cheese ever on a taco.
I like bean and cheese burritos, but I like quesadillas. But
And tacos are like, I say, well, what about like cotija? And they go,
oh, those fried beef tacos like you get, you know? I like it on that.
yeah. Some people,
But on these, not so much.
some people get really weird about it. Like a fish taco, like a fried fish taco. Like they say like brigantine, oh no, you can't put cheese on a fried fish taco. And I'm like, it tastes good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the cheese on fish either.
Good. Okay, the seasoning, again, it was one of those like packets.
Like, what is it? McLaury's, McMillan's, I don't know.
Yeah.
One of those deals.
Yeah, it's a packet like you get for like taco night.
Right, that you would put in all, but I
It's
just
like
put
the hard shell taco.
Yeah, I just put a little bit in.
It is good.
It's good, huh?
You got texture, you got the onion crunch. Avocado, I love. So thank you for putting avocado on it.
Heavy avocado in that.
You got heat
Puts a
from
little bit of,
little bit of heat.
Because this isn't really that hot, more
Yeah.
like flavor, you know?
It's more like flavor.
And those two together kind of give it that.
Oh yeah. This is good,
the
dude.
Crispy hot. Thanks, man.
This is perfect.
Wow. You don't even have to fire up a grill.
I don't even know if they were grilled. I think they were microwave.
I just, like I said, I cook the chicken in the oven and I just keep it in the fridge and I just make them at will, you know?
I'm good. Not a bad margarita,
So
go with
good.
it.
Oh my God, not bad.
Half the orange juice spilled all over the table, but you know, what got into the glass.
Another
was
one of
good.
these, I won't even have my shirt on out here. You ride my motorcycle in the garage.
That's gonna be a different video.
Let's tune in next week. Is he really riding in the garage?
I'm coming back for taco night. This is taco day.
Anytime, man.
Thanks again. Here, I'm just gonna,
Thank you.
because I can't cheer you with a empty glass, so you need a refill. You need to drink that. Cheers. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Pleasure seeing you.
See you soon.